What better time to launch a video series that we've been talking about doing for a very long time now?
It just dropped a bunch of rust out of something. Let's have a quick peek here at... Whoop.
Welcome to 2025, where economic uncertainty reigns supreme. So what better time to launch a video series that we've been talking about doing for a very long time now? And that is our Cheap Car Challenge, where we're gonna buy a series of cars worth 6,000 US or 10,000 Canadian and do a quick build on them.
Our goal with this series is to choose the best bang for the buck options on the market today, and we need your help to choose them. We're gonna start this series off with this 535i BMW station wagon. And I know it's a bit of an odd choice for a build, but we'll explain to you exactly why we've chosen this one to start off. However, moving forward, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look to the comments section and we're gonna pick the vehicles out of there for the remainder of this series.
Well, let me close the hood on this thing because ew, but if you have a car that you think is the right one for us to build, then post that in the comment section, but have a look first to see if it's already there. And if it is there, then give it a thumbs up and we will choose the next builds based on which ones are the most popular. One of my top picks for this series would be an Acura TSX. And as much as I love the first gen, I think the second gen is actually slept on. They're also remarkably cheap. It'll be less rusty and easier to work on. So let me know in the comments if you like that idea.
You know, one of my other choices is gonna be a BMW as well. I think the E82 BMW 128 is a hell of an option. N52 engine, it makes like 230 horsepower, lots of great mods, rear-wheel drive, bang for the buck seems to be there.
Man, as much as I love me a golden era Honda, we are trying to keep these two newer cars. So think 2000 era and newer. And in that vein, I am a big fan of the GE Honda Fit. I know it's not a sports car, but I love thrashing a small hatchback, and I've always wanted to K-swap one of those. So K-swap might be too big an idea for the initial build, but who knows, maybe it's a follow-up idea.
Now, it's not all BMWs and Hondas. We're also thinking a VW GTI is a great option and a very affordable one. Maybe a Pontiac G8, because that's probably one of the cheapest LS options that are out there. And of course, an Infiniti G35 or G37, because, well, they are super cheap, and I think they actually have good potential if you're not doing takeovers, because, well, I think they've gotten a bad rap there. Maybe we can change that.
We're not exactly sure how many of these builds we're gonna do, and in fact, that's gonna be based on how popular they are and how much fun we're having doing them. But at the end of this series, we are gonna pick one based on your feedback and maybe our own feelings too, and do a follow-up build on it. So take that build to the next level. So there you go. This is our big idea for 2025, and we hope you're as excited about it as we are. However, let's get back to this 5 Series wagon, because I think Pete's got some explaining to do here.
So here it is, a 2009 BMW 535 Xi, so an all-wheel drive model in an M Sport variant, which is very, very rare and hard to come by. And it has a whack of problems. You can see, DP, it just dropped a bunch of rust out of something. I don't even know what that's from. Looks like a dust shield, I hope. It left a big trail. It also left a plume of smoke here.
Yeah.
Coming out of the tailpipe, which I don't know is a normal thing or not, but I suspect that isn't. Now, if you know me, you know that I love fast wagons, and this one is almost exactly that. It comes with BMW's most polarizing engine. Some people love this engine, some people absolutely hate it. It is their 3-liter inline-6 twin-turbo N54. Given the costs of maintaining and repairing this engine, it may be a money pit of a vehicle. Now, I did buy this car for $7,000 Canadian, which is about 5,000 US dollars. So it's remarkably cheap. These cars do drive very well, they handle well, and they are practical given that it's a wagon. So for me, it is kind of that sweet spot for a great dadmobile that's sporty and fun. Since purchasing this vehicle, all of a sudden I have a bunch of all-wheel drive and DSC errors, so traction control errors, that may be self-induced because I did try to switch this car into neutral while the car was stationary and it didn't go, so I may have done something. But first of all, I think what we need to do is take this car for a drive and kind of talk about it a little bit more.
While Peter goes and gets the keys, let me tell you a little story called BMW addiction. It's not a good addiction. It's not a healthy addiction, but Peter certainly suffers from it. And this 5 Series wagon is a clear indicator of that. It's got all the check engine lights. It blows blue smoke, but he still thinks it's a deal. Sad, sad man. Okay.
Did you see that, DP?
It's already making noises.
No, but the all-wheel drive malfunction light just went all off.
Oh, weird.
When we started driving.
So it probably was from you monkeying around with the shifter.
It must be.
Yeah.
That is the best BMW fix ever. Can we just say that?
Yes, it is.
So
that's not going to fix the blue smoke coming out the tailpipe.
Well, yeah, that's a little concerning. I don't know what that could be. Hopefully it's not like valve stem seals or something. Rattling turbos. There are so many problems with this engine.
Not this particular, but in general.
Yes, N54 injectors have issues. High pressure fuel pump has issues. Walnut blasting, the intake manifold for carbon buildup, oil filter housing, valve cover leaks. Some people say rod bearings need to be done on these.
Ooh. Oh, it's making more noises, Peter.
It's brake pads are worn.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So please, in your own BMW addicted way, explain to us why this was a good purchase.
I think from a price for bang of the buck, this is hard to beat. This motor can be good, and I'm hoping it's not going to be a money pit. You just have to find vehicles that are well maintained. This vehicle, the previous gentleman that owned it, maintained it very well. It did come with a stack of records.
That's a good sign.
So that is to me, that is a very good sign.
Yeah.
And that is really what you're looking for. We'll see. We'll put this thing up on a hoist in a second. Now, I personally like the look of this era. I think this, what do they call this? The Bangle era?
Yeah, Bangle. Chris Bangle was the designer.
Yeah.
And these headlights are very
Bangle-ish. So I really like the way this car looks. This is the M Sport version, so it does have better bumpers, like more sportier looks. You can see this one doesn't have the roof racks, which is kind of unique. I've never seen that before.
Okay.
So what I think this thing would really look cool as is like an M5 clone, which they had wagons in Europe. So you can go buy a rear bumper with the quad pipes.
Yeah.
You know, we did think about doing an M5 conversion on this, but
with the V10 swap and all that.
Yeah, with the whole conversion, but it just, when you looked at it, it was just too much work. So
and money.
yes, and headaches and electrical wiring nightmares. So
rebuilding a V10 and
making it from the exterior, it's just like a set of bumpers away and fenders per se from looking like an M5, which would be pretty neat.
It would be cool.
The one thing that I don't love is the automatic gearbox.
Okay, why is that?
And it's a little clunky, and really, you know, we're building a sport wagon here, and from this era, the gearboxes weren't exactly great.
Okay.
So I would say a manual swap for this would be super cool.
That would be cool.
You can find them.
Okay.
And keep it all-wheel drive, so you can try to make it rear-wheel drive, but I think that's a lot more work than just keeping it all-wheel drive, so we could try to do that. So if I can source something like that, DP, I think we may do it. Getting back to the car itself, I think they drive really well.
It does drive well, yeah.
You can feel like this is
nice.
Certainly an era of good riding BMW.
It feels very solid, like all BMWs do. They have a real quality feel on the road.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
I think there's a huge potential in making this car drive like a proper sports wagon and really be able to enjoy it as a fun DD. Mm-hmm. You know, from a perspective of something that's practical, like a wagon that you can haul your kids in and have a fast, fun car. Yeah. This certainly there.
I get it. You know? I mean, the N54 I associate as a non-BMW guy with the 335i guys who aren't necessarily, they're like the G35 owners of the German car world.
Yes.
But it is a great engine. It can make a lot of power. And so to have that kind of performance in a wagon, I see the appeal.
Yeah. This particular one is 220,000 kilometers. So, you know, it's not necessarily super low mileage, but it's not bad. And let's see. I haven't punched this vehicle before, so let's see what happens here.
See if it spits the turbo out the tailpipe.
DP.
It's pretty good. Wow, it's pretty good. It's got good top end, actually.
Yeah, there's a pile of smoke behind us. But
is there? I didn't look in the mirrors.
No, that's actually pretty good.
That was pretty good. And obviously, you know, with a a retune. Like the sky is the limit with power potential.
That is why I think this is really a great score of a car. Is you can do a tune on this, you know, do like an intercooler, some upgrades, and this thing.
Wow, it goes like, good.
Look at this thing go, man.
It takes a minute to get going, probably because it weighs. I'm going to say 4,000 pounds ish.
Yes, yes.
But once it gets going, it's got
nice,
some pep,
right?
It's no Lexus LS 430, Peter.
No,
I'm on board with this. I think it's pretty cool.
Now there are a host of problems with this car.
Of course there are.
So let's just go back to the shop and we can kind of look at them. These ones I'm not necessarily really happy to dig into, but I think we're gonna have to do them. One of the biggest upsides to this vehicle is the body is straight. The paint is actually in pretty decent shape. I think if we give it a cut and polish, it'll really buff up. However, one of the largest problems, and I think this generation, this E61 generation suffers from, is tailgate issues. And this one is not unique to it. So I should be able to open the tailgate here by hitting the button. You can see it does nothing. And that may be because, let me show you, when I open this up here, oh, and I won't even open this up. See? DP, did I lock this car somehow? It's not locked, uh-oh, it's not unlocked, what's going on here? I was warned about this too. The key fob, something's wrong with the key fob, so you can't actually like unlock and lock the doors.
Oh wow.
See, we haven't even dealt with that yet, but see, like...
It's not just a dead battery in the fob, or?
No, it's not. It's not.
Coating issue?
The previous owner said there's some type of issue with the key fob. So all the doors are open now, so I should be able to open this. So this should open on its own, right? But it doesn't. You can see.
Oh yeah.
And...
The struts are shot?
Oh, well... The struts, I don't think the struts are blown. It's the mechanism that runs it. Look at this.
Oh, it's been hacked.
Look at, well, these wires, they end up fraying and breaking.
Okay.
And to fix this, usually you tape them together. You can see it's already been done once, but it's likely failed again. And usually this runs through the chassis here. So this has been fixed, you know, trying to go outside of it, but it just doesn't seem to work. You can see that is how it's gonna stay, which truthfully, I kind of want to like eliminate this, and I wonder if we can just go to gas struts.
Nothing.
You can hear something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't do
Activators
that. Yeah, which is not great. This rear glass should open. It does not open either. So that's
you got some work to do here, PT.
That's a bit of an issue, and something is very wrong with the mirror. I think the gears are broken on it.
Oh yeah.
So you can see the other one. The other one's folded in. So that one's folded in. This one here is not folded in. And then what happens is if you unfold it, it doesn't do anything. You can see it's just,
yep,
it's fully tweaked. The answer here is easy, actually. Just go buy a set of OEM M5 mirrors. They're gonna look better and they're gonna work. The gear's not gonna be broken inside. Or you could just leave this like this if you really wanted to. So
you're telling me the answer is just go spend a bunch of money on M5 stuff?
Yes, that is always the answer. This being an M Sport car, it actually is already well trimmed out. These are sport seats. The interior is in very good shape. Black leather, I do love. What isn't nice is pretty much all of the buttons have kind of been worn off, which really sucks. Things like this is another reason why I want to do a manual swap. Look at the plastic, like fake chrome trim. It is lifted to the point where this is all falling apart, which is not great. And then otherwise it's in pretty average shape. Like the steering wheel certainly had a decent amount of use, but it should clean up well. Now it's time for the moment of truth here. Do we have a leaky BMW or do we have a dry BMW? It is a little bit rusty, I can tell you that. All right, so we've got a little bit of rust. We do have a little bit of oil right here, but you know what? Oh man, it's not bad here, DP. I think I just jinxed myself by saying this isn't super rusty because I just snapped one of these brace bolts here. So in an effort of not snapping the rest of them, now I'm gonna have to heat them up. If you haven't seen me use this tool before, this is the bolt buster, heat induction tool. And this heats the bolt up. Oh, no. Oh yes. Okay, that's one. Interesting to see this here, which is basically, this is your front center diff that has one axle running through the oil pan. And it does look like this is all sweaty. So the area that has the axle passing through it looks like that is where we have a leak. So that's not all that bad. Overall, this engine is fairly dry. It's got your typical, BMW oil around this area, but I can tell the oil pan has been done. The gasket has been replaced on the lower oil pan because the bolts are nice and fresh and new. So that is a good thing. Turbo wise, there's no wastegate rattle, which is nice. And looking up in here, it doesn't look like we have anything leaking. This is a very common fix that I see everywhere, and that is a little bit of the old Permatex red to seal up what are usually rusty, leaky joints on a BMW exhaust. This is remarkable. The transmission pan must have been done because it is not leaking. You never see this on a BMW. It is always wet. And this brace, wow. We're gonna have to remove this sooner or later then, DP. It looks like it's just gonna crumble.
It's been underwater.
This is probably like the worst part.
It is.
From a rust perspective. And even though the diff looks very rusty itself, I don't think it's in terrible shape. That being said, it is, it does not look good visually. So looking at the back end here, other than that, like it's all surface rust. There's not a ton of stuff that needs to be replaced. Really the key for this vehicle is not to restore it to, like new condition, because I just don't think it's worth it. What we want to show you is if you buy one of these, where to put your money and where not to put your money. Let's have a quick peek here at, whoop. That's why having studs, studs is so much better, because that right there is unneeded. BMW, why? Why don't you give me studs? So unfortunately, what I've learned is the all-wheel drive cars have a much higher offset wheel up front due to the all-wheel drive system. Everything is pushed out further. So these on a rear-wheel drive E60 would be an 18x8 plus 20 offset. These on here are an 18x8 plus 40 offset. So that leaves us with a very limited amount of wheel options for the all-wheel drive cars. I do have a few wheels kicking around at the shop here, so let's put them on and see what like a 20 offset would look like. These here are E90 M3 18-inch wheels. They're an 18x8.5 plus 23 offset. So let's see what this is gonna look like. It does have like the smallest amount of poke. Like if I put a stretched tire on here, could work, but then if we lower the car a lot, I don't know, DP. I don't know what to really think about the color either.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, this being a gray and this being like a blue gray, it's not bad, but it is a bit contrasty. And here are the wheels off of the wagon build, the F31. These are 19x8.5 fronts with an offset of plus 27. So they're not gonna be as aggressive, so they may actually fit up here. Wow, that ride height is insane. We're gonna have to, one of the first things we're gonna have to do is get the ride height down. The fitment on these is actually quite good. Ironically, the design of these looks really nice on here from like an OEM Plus standard. So why don't we put the rear on the back and let's see what they look like. Now remember, this is an air suspension car, so it is on bags in the rear, springs up front. And you can see it's not sitting great. This is an 18x9, I think also plus 27-ish or close to 30. Let me know in the comments if you guys have some awesome wheel suggestions for this thing, because it's gonna be a tough one. As you guys saw, I'm gonna need a bunch of your help. I don't know the N54 platform, so post in the comments, let me know what you guys think I should do at a bare minimum to this engine. And if you guys can help me find an M5 front bumper, fenders, that would be amazing, and some headlights. You can see these headlights are toast, and I was thinking about replacing the lenses, but even the plastic inside, like the chrome trim there, is starting to crack.
Well, there you go, guys. That is a quick introduction to our cheap car challenge idea, and I hope you guys are as excited about it as we are. We think it's kind of the perfect time for it, because with car prices coming down, with inflation going up, it just seems like cheap car builds is maybe the sweet spot in the enjoyment marketplace for now. So we do have some work to do though. So there's going to be a bit of a lull before we get to work on that 5 Series wagon. And before we get to work on any of the other cars, we've got to go and buy some of those based on your comments below. So please do comment, let us know what cars you'd like us to include in this series, and we will go shopping for them. And in fact, if you not only have a car in mind, but know of a great deal on it, by all means, reach out to us and let us know of any cars in your area that are like, wow, we think this is perfect for this series. We'll take any and all information we can get on this. So thank you guys very much for watching. We're really excited about this, and we will start to roll it out probably in a month or so. And in the meantime, of course, we will have some cool stuff for you.